Hey guys, what is up? It is Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another roller coaster review. Today I will be talking about Fury 325 at Carowinds Amusement Park, and let me just tell you, I'm going to start off right here. Carowinds is an absolutely amazing amusement park. It is the only amusement park I could think of that's located in two different states, which are the Carolinas, and Fury 325 itself is actually a very great, critically acclaimed roller coaster. In fact, according to many people, it is their number one, and it is actually the number one steel roller coaster for Amusement Today's annual Golden Ticket Awards, which is amazing. That is a big honor to hold for a roller coaster like this. So this is the star attraction at Carowinds ever since it opened up in March of 2015. So like I said earlier, Fury 325 is located at Carowinds Amusement Park, and I just have to say, this park, it looks like a basic Cedar Fair park on paper, but when you actually go to the park, the staff, the overall environment make this one of the most amazing and charming parks I have ever been to. It has that southern charm that you could only find at some amusement parks, and the staff really adds on to that. I love the staff at this park. I would have to say this park has some of the best staff I have ever been to when it comes to both charm and that southern accent occasionally really ranks up some points. But let's talk about Fury. So I entered in through the Afterburn entrance, and so I had to walk all the way across the park, which really isn't that big, to Fury 325. So this ride towers over the rest of the park with the observation tower and the slingshot attraction. This ride is absolutely magnificent. It is massive as well. It is just beautiful, just looking at all these turns. And when you see the ride off-ride for the first time, your jaw drops to the floor. I mean, just watching the pacing on this ride, going through those overbank turns, you are just like, I need to get on this as soon as possible. So I got on it, and I have to say, I am very impressed. So the queue is nothing special, just a bunch of cattle pins. And when I went, I actually had Fast Lane Plus, so I got to basically line hop legally. So I got to get to the line, and that day they were assigning rows. I did not get a front row ride, but the three rides I got really close to the back. And so I could just tell you a little bit of a back row experience of the ride. So they assigned me to like I think back three rows actually. So these back three rows are extremely forceful, and I guarantee you the rest of the ride is forceful. You guys that have ridden it in the front probably know that. So the ride starts off with the lift hill, and the lift hill is extremely fast. But before that, when you're getting loaded into the station, this ride might have some of the best operations on any roller coaster on the planet. It is definitely the best I've seen by far. Take some of these amazing operating roller coasters and times it by like a million. B&M Hypers are known to have terrible operations, yet this ride is such an exception. It has, on average, like 30 to 45 second dispatches, which is incredible for a Giga roller coaster. I am just so astonished. I was so amazed when I first saw that. So back to the lift hill. You go up the lift hill. There's a little bit of on-ride audio that hypes you up a little bit. You hear that insect swarm kind of noise, and you hear instructions, enjoy your ride on Fury 325, which, yeah, that's pretty cool. And the top of the hill, you could see a lot of stuff. There's not a lot around Carowinds, but in the distance, you could see downtown Charlotte clearly. And I have to say, that is one of the best views of any skyline I have ever gotten. On top of a roller coaster, you just see this beautiful city skyline, and I have to say that is amazing. While you're distracted by that city skyline, you go down this magnificent drop. This drop may be one of the best on Earth. I mean, you pop right out of your seat on those clamshells down this thing, and it is incredible. From there, you go into this gigantic twisty overbank turn, and you would expect the maneuvers to be a little jerky. They are not jerky at all. By this point, your hands better be up because they are not jerky whatsoever. You speed right over that turn. And I have to say, I'm going to compare this a lot to Millennium Force. This ride has bank turns that kick Millennium Force to the ground. These bank turns speed. They have speed. I said speed. These things just whip you right over, going 90 miles an hour, especially that second overbank turn. You go into that first large one, but that second one you go on, it's a very tiny overbank turn, and I have to say that is probably my favorite part of the ride. It is just extremely intense, and just looking out at everyone, you just see the park flashing through your eyes when you look over there. You go into a third overbank turn, and then you go into probably the most unique element on this ride, which is the treble clef. And I have to say, this is a very awesome part of the ride. I love this part, especially in the back row. So you go into this tiny switch around, and you go up this, I guess you could say, vertical helix. I really don't know. And then you kind of float there for a couple seconds. It is basically sideways airtime on a B&M Giga. You only expect these sideways airtime hills on RMCs and maybe even a couple GCIs, but no. You get sideways airtime on a B&M, which is one of the most refreshing things ever. Just imagine that first turn on lightning rod, but with a clamshell. That's what this is. So you go down into, I guess you can call it the hive dive. That's what I call it. And you go into this tunnel with a bunch of nice lights on it, and you emerge back into another overbank turn. So this overbank turns slower, but it really whips you around too. It's awesome. And you go into this big floater airtime hill, which is basically a homage to every other floater airtime hill on every other B&M Hyper ever. And after that, it's probably the worst part of the ride is a helix, and it's filler. It definitely is. It's a very forceful part of the ride. It's a little bit of a recap to know what just happened. But then this next part might be a contender for the best part of the ride. A series of ejector airtime hills. And this series of ejector is amazing. You really don't expect it the first time you go on. I expected it to be floater airtime, and I was pleasantly surprised when I just popped right out of my seat. And you could feel your butt lift out of your seat on these hills. These hills are extremely packed with ejector airtime. Some of the most forceful hills I have ever gone over, and it just leaves you up there. It's like flagector. After that, the ride's over, and you go into the unbearably long brake run. After that, in the station, has some of the best hype I've ever seen on any roller coaster. You just hear applause everywhere, hear cheering everywhere. It is awesome. It's like a 24-hour freaking party in there, except only during the day, I guess. And after that, you go into a gift shop, which is actually under the station, like Banshee at Kings Island or Gatekeeper at Cedar Point, for instance. And so you go in there. The gift shop is well designed. The staff there is really nice, and the gifts there look pretty cool. Unfortunately, I never got to buy anything. And the gift shop's pretty small. It's nothing to shout about, but it's a good gift shop, I guess. And then you go back out of the plaza and, well, get back on Fury, because let's be honest. So, Fury 325, how do I rank it overall? It is my overall number 2 behind Millennium Force. As of right now, I have not ridden Steel Vengeance as of when this video came out. I may in the next couple weeks, and I am hyped for that. But for now, this is my number 2 roller coaster in the world, because it just, it's so amazing. It is adrenaline rush. This is one of the first roller coasters in a very long time where I have felt like butterflies going over those airtime hills. It is so worth it. And a lot of people say it's overrated or they trash on this ride. No, this ride is amazing. It is astounding. It is something you really don't get anywhere else. When you compare it to Diamondback, it doesn't even compare. It beats it by far. And just, they're so different. Like rides like Mako, Diamondback, and Intimidator, they're all similar. And Fury just differentiates from all of them. It's its own unique roller coaster. It reminded me more of a ride like Maverick than it would a ride like Diamondback. It's that unique. And you guys definitely have to go to Carowinds to check this out. It is incredible. I will see you guys later, and hope you enjoy. And if you've ridden Fury, tell me what you think about it. Thanks, and bye.